So what's up, ladies and gents? I'm your boy Antican, and welcome back to the channel. And listen, in today's video, this will be one of the most unpopular takes that I've ever given to any type of take or opinion when it comes to Battlefield and Black Ops 6 or 7, rather. And I know. I've been pushing a lot of buttons lately, but we have to talk about this. As Black Ops 7 is approaching, we need to clarify a couple things, both on the Battlefield side and on the Black Ops 7 side. But before we do, ladies and gents, hey, pass by the channel, please. Drop a like, a comment, hey, and subscribe, because it helps me grow and it helps this channel grow. So the fuck you doing? Lately, I've been taking a lot of hits, and honestly, I know that it's me, but look, my opinions have always been based on what I've been seeing, and they're my opinions and mine's alone. I don't ask people to share my opinions, to look at it the same way I do. I never have, and I never want to. I just like to share what I see, my take on what it could be. So what my takes are like Andrew Tate on a Sunday morning while he's dancing and drinking mimosas.
You need some milk.
What?
But look, I know. But we need to address this problem. I keep hearing people praising Treyarch lately, and rightfully so. I think there's some things they could literally, pat themselves on the back and say, yeah, we're finally listening. But I want to make something clear about this term that I call the placebo effect. The placebo effect is not only a term used in the medical aspect, right? When it comes to medications, when they're testing out medications and using people for trials. No, the placebo effect is literally just a test used for humans to determine different things, and if people realize that is happening right before their eyes when it's really not. That's what the placebo effect comes in here. And I'm using this as a hypothetical, so don't attack me just yet. Just hear me out. Look, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. But with people complaining or praising the fact that there's no skill-based matchmaking in Black Ops 7, no more disbanding lobbies in Black Ops 7, everybody's like, yay.
Oh, Hercules.
No Hercules. Just because skill-based matchmaking is not in-game, it doesn't mean that EOMM will be stopped. Engagement optimization matchmaking. It's still going to be at play. Or as other people like to call it, skill-based damage, TTK manipulation, in that matter. Because let's be real. Activision and Treyarch need to bring back at least 50 to 75% of their player base back to feel like it's a win. Because what the hell is the point of having a launch and not the full player base show up? It might have higher numbers than Battlefield 6 at launch, most likely, but it won't determine exactly how the numbers look like if they don't have these things implemented. Let's just be honest. They need to have engagement optimization matchmaking in play, or as people like to call it, skill-based damage, to kind of alleviate the fact that lobbies won't be skill-based. And people think that that's a win. That might be a win, because let's be honest. Why should they have skill-based matchmaking if they are already manipulating lobbies, right? What the hell is the point of that? I would much rather matchmake using my ping, which a lot of people agree with me. So, like, for example, my ping on a good day is between 10 to 15. The highest I've seen is like 20. So let's suppose I'm matchmaking with my ping and is at 20. Then I will find a match with people who are the same ping. Simple as that. And that causes a faster matchmaking time because it's based upon ping. Ping is what's driving the matchmaking system, which is what it should be in the first place. It should never be based in skill, because I'm not sure what their sample of the game is, which is like maybe 5 games in. So let's say if you play 5 games, and you win all 5 games and you have a ridiculous KD during those 5 games, and the vice versa of it, you lose 5 games and you have a horrible KD. Well, EOMM, engagement optimization matchmaking, takes over, right? And there will be some manipulation in there. Now, is that enough to affect how a player or how a person plays in a game? I don't think that's enough manipulation to say, oh yeah, it's ruining great players' game. No, it's not gonna ruin somebody who's good at the game. It's not gonna ruin how they play. But would it be annoying? Yes. There's gonna be an annoying factor that a lot of people will be noticing in Black Ops 7. Which brings me to my next point, and that is what's been happening lately with Battlefield 6. You heard of it. It's annoying, but expected, because it involves the Call of Duty player base. Now, you might say to me, like, what do you mean by this? Well, just recently, I've seen a post on X where a known Battlefield player, streamer, content creator went and posted something about that during season 1, when they announced season 1, they showed all the season pass and the rewards that you get and the skins. And the skins looked a little like Call of Duty skins, a little too colorful for the Battlefield player base. So this content creator goes and says, well, if I catch anybody using any of these skins, I'm not picking them up. I'm not resing that person. Kind of starting this strike, which I actually spoke about in one of my videos, where I specifically reacted to a small clip of Jay Smooth, part of the Nuke Squad. You know, he's good friends with Face Swag, where he was ranting about how people weren't picking him up and where were the support class at and this and that. And I feel like people just lose logic. And in this video, I was specifically talking about situational play, where it's something that if you played first person shooters, you should already have, that concept in your mind, where just because you're a support and your job is to res people, there are situations in the game where it doesn't allow you to constantly run to that person to pick them up. Because if somebody has at least one brain cell, they would bait everybody to try to pick that person up. And it's true. So I specifically said in this video with a couple different things. Like if you're behind cover and you go down and you're a support and you're in the area, make the effort to try to go pick that person up. It doesn't matter what game mode you're playing, whether you're playing squad or you're doing escalation or conquests, breakthrough, whatever the mode is, situational play is important. And that's for every class. But that's not even the problem, because that's a fair assessment for somebody to complain, because I just ran into somebody who did the same thing to me, and I was a support, and he was the recon, but there was nobody in the area, and I was in cover, or at least halfway, where he could have just dragged me to cover, and it was literally right next to him, and he could have picked me up. But that's reasonable enough to say when somebody complains about somebody not picking them up. But this is a whole escalation to go and say, oh, I'm not picking anybody up that uses any of these skins. So you're willing to lose the match because it's like a domino effect, and also ruin somebody's day just because they earned that skin and wanted to use it. I find nothing wrong with any of those skins, even if I might not ever use them. Why would I care if somebody else uses them? I just want to play the fucking game. That's all I want to do. I just want to play the fucking game. And people are out here listening to them and creating this havoc and disruption on a game that needs all the momentum to even keep up with Black Ops 7 when it drops. Like, this is some serious sabotage at its finest. To be doing that and saying something like that is pretty dangerous. And I have to say, to this content creator, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You're the problem, not part of it. You are the problem. And it's crazy to me. And then my other point, I know what people are going to say. Oh my God, Ant, don't go there, man. Don't do it. But I have to go there. I have to. You know, all this buzz that Battlefield 6 has gotten for the past couple months, all the way to launch, whether the Battle Royale skyrocket the game to you know, get the numbers up, whether that actually helps. I need to mention this. If it wasn't because of all the woes that Activision and Treyarch have been having with the Call of Duty franchise, Battlefield 6 would have never had all this buzz. I said it. I said it. I said it. They would have never had any of this buzz. Why, Ant? What the hell are you talking about? That's blasphemous. Yeah, it's blasphemous. From you, your delusions of grandeur, for not really looking at it at face value. You're the problem. Because let me explain something. The numbers are down, right? But those are usual numbers that Battlefield has always had through the time that Battlefield's been out. They always had those low numbers, and they were okay with those numbers. The player base was okay with never getting any buzz because they would always play their game. And I'm actually siding with the Battlefield player base with this one. I'm not trying to like shit on the game, because I play it and I enjoy it. But the numbers are down because there were a lot of Call of Duty players playing the game to spite Activision and Treyarch, because of all the woes that the game has brought. So if you see the numbers and people posting, the weekly numbers and the numbers are down for Battlefield 6, it's the Call of Duty player base going back to Call of Duty. It's really that simple. Weren't you guys the same people saying, go back to Call of Duty? Well, these same people went back to Call of Duty. I mean, seriously? Come on, man. And I know, listen, I get it. You're not at fault here. The Battlefield player base is not at fault. You guys didn't create this buzz. The Call of Duty community did. Yeah, they did. And now the Battlefield player base are paying the consequences. I made a point to be frank with you guys. I've made multiple videos specifically saying that I was going to play both games, Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7. That's not going to change. It's not going to alter anything about it. When Black Ops 7 comes out, I will split the time that I would have spent playing Battlefield. Why can't that be the concept for everybody? Why does it have to be that difficult to people accept Battlefield for what it is? I never understood that. We could accept Call of Duty for what it is. That is a yearly game and people are over it. But yet, Activision drops a game every year. So we don't have that much time to actually give our take on a game when we'll be waiting for the next game up. So why the hate? Right? And I want to make one last point to a couple content creators, Tim the Tapman, Nick Merckx, all these guys that go and admit it. It's like Tim the Tapman said, oh, I just don't find interest in Battlefield. That's why I haven't been streaming it. Okay. But the same guy goes on his stream and says, but I'm excited for the BR. Yeah. BR. Brr. Tell me how the fuck does that work? How does that work? It makes no sense to dismiss a whole game as is, to dismiss the game as is, with no changes, and then go and say, oh, the Battle Royale is going to be good. Or I can't wait for the Battle Royale to come out. If Battlefield 6 and the mechanics of the game are the very thing that is keeping you away from streaming it or enjoying the game, why would the Battle Royale be any different from the actual game? You already get tanks, helicopters, jets, everything that you need to make it look like a Battle Royale. No? The only difference is you'll be falling out of the sky. But is it something that's already been done? So tell me what enjoyment you would have if you don't like the game as is. They're not going to add anything new for the Battle Royale. It's going to be the same thing as the game, the same mechanics, as you falling out of the sky. So tell me how that actually works, Timmy. Come on, Timmy. If you watch this video, how does that fucking work? But I'm going to leave it right here, ladies and gents, and I will leave it up to you to come up with your own thoughts. I needed to make this video because I know there's a lot of people who do agree with me and maybe share my sentiment. I don't want to influence anybody to think like me because these are my opinions and mine alone. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. And I'm your boy Antican, and you know what to do. As always, thank you. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Because let's be honest, this mother is super desperate. And he has nobody. So please, at this mother. Thank you.